Well, the show itself it's the story of a theater company who's put together a show that they want to take to Broadway. And on their opening night in one of their preview shows in Boston, their leading lady is murdered. And then my job as the detective is I come in and try to solve the mystery. This detective is from Boston, and so I've had to do my research on a Boston accent and to introduce that to the character as well. The first thing I do when I come on stage is I say, excuse me, I'm Lieutenant Frank Chaffee of the Greater Boston Police. I'm from the Homicide Division,
Oh, well, it is an honor to be standing on the same stage with each and every one of you.
My character, especially the detective, he loves to perform. We learn that through the show, a little bit about his theater background and how he's always wanted to be in theater. And so it's kind of like a dream of his to be working with all these professionals and to be able to see how it all works. And in some cases, as you'll see in the show, he'll have a say in some of the numbers or in some of the performances of the actors.
Some policemen and detectives dream of show business. They can't get arrested, but still they sit around the station and fancy this life. They cheer Sherlock Holmes and cheer Mac the Knife.
Nikki Harris is big-eyed, excited, new to the business. She loves everything that's going on around her, everyone, and she happens to fall in love with Frank Chaffee, the investigator, who has a crush on her, so it makes it a little easier for her to like him. And as the plot thickens, their interest gets more intense and interesting.
May I just say, I found your performance particularly memorable. It was just lovely.
Oh, well, thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you.
I'm crazy about your little vibrato.
You're very kind. Anyway, yesterday, Ms. Cranshaw asked me to help coach her on her lines. Of course, I said I'd be glad to help.
Oh, that's so like you.
I'm also her understudy. At least I was. I guess I'm George's now.
It is a modern take on old, classic, pre-1960 musical theater. So shows like The Pajama Game, Oklahoma, things that had bright color. Even though they were in a time period, they still had that 50s, 60s style to their costumes, to their hair, to their makeup. If you watch the old films, you're like, oh, that was definitely filmed in the 60s. It has that feel to it. All the costumes are bright, exciting to look at, especially the show within a show. All the costumes are, and the sets are like, pow, like you're in the 1950s watching.
The feedback I've gotten has all been 100% wonderful. I mean, I have not heard a negative thing yet from any person who's walked out of this theater. They've all said this is a fantastic show. It's, you know, one of the best I've seen. And it's extremely important that word of mouth gets out and that people tell their friends and tell everyone else about this show if they've seen it.
For those coming to the theater, you don't have to love being in theater to enjoy theater. We need people to support the arts as much as we need them to be in the arts. And B, just to share a love of humanity. It's a great way, I mean, we're telling stories about people, normal people. I mean, yes, Curtains is a comedy, but one thing that people say a lot as they leave is your characters have such heart and they're so personable and they're like our friends, and we hope that that's how people see us as actors, that we're their friends and we're normal people and we're human beings and that we can share that with each other.
So giving, we show people.